Peace. What's up, everybody in the Varsity Club? This is your boy Jay every day. And today I'm going to do a quick post. And I'm going to call this post The Myth of Steph Curry. Now, let me first start off by saying what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sit up here and call Steph Curry a bum. I'm not going to sit up here and say that Steph Curry can't hoop. What I am going to talk about is this narrative that seems to be said about how he's the greatest shooter that the NBA has ever seen. I think that's disingenuous, and I also think it's a line of BS because the rules of the game are completely different today than they used to be. Like I said, he's the best shooter today with the rules being the way they are and not having to face elite level point guards who play aggressive and tight defense on him allows him to do the things that he do. So what I want to do is I'm going to give you 4 players. No, let me stop. Instead of 4, I'm going to give you 5 players that would have put some clamps on him. And I'm curious to see how he would have did against those 5 players. Let me go down the list. Number 1, Gary Payton. Not only was Gary Payton a notorious trash talker, he was a tall and rangy point guard who made his bones by playing defense, by being a defensive point guard first, then his offense caught up to his defense. Second person on that same list is Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is also from Oakland like Gary Payton, and Gary Payton also took him under his wing and taught him how to play defense. So that's another very tough, very physical point guard who would have played, some serious D on him. Next player I want to go to, Tayshaun Prince. Tayshaun Prince might have been 6'5". He was anywhere between 6'5" and 6'7". But he wasn't like athletically strong, but he had long arms and good feet. And he also played excellent defense. Another player, Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen, also about 6'6", very physical, very cerebral player. Could guard both guard positions and some small forwards. Not a lot, but some. As small forwards got bigger, he was too small to really guard a lot of the elite small forwards. But both guard positions, you had a problem on your hands. And last but not least is Joe Dumars. Why I bring these 5 players up is the type of tenacity and the type of defense they would play on Steph Curry. I don't know I'm sure he would have got his shot off some, but I don't know how much of his shot he would have really been able to get off because the level of defensive players he was going against, they were tenacious, had good motors, and they took pride in playing defense. I think a lot of these sportscasters are prisoners of the moment, and they tend to get caught up in the hype surrounding a player when he's probably playing on one of the best ensembles of players in a team game that we've probably ever seen. Now, I will agree with that. For what they do and in the era they're in, it's probably one of the best ensembles we've ever seen. Now, while I'm at it, and I don't want to forget him because I'm not really no big fan of his, but another point guard that would have put some really tough defense on him is Derek Fisher. Now, I've spoken about Derek Fisher on my site before, and Derek Fisher is what Derek Fisher is. But at the same time, Derek Fisher was a tenacious defender. So with that being said, I just want to explain a few things about the rules in the NBA back then as opposed to now. You can't hand check. You can't play physical. Fighting through picks will probably be a foul called on the defensive player rather than the offensive player, depending on how hard you fight through the picks. Those moving picks and all of that stuff that a lot of stuff Golden State gets away with, I don't know how much of that they would be able to do if they were playing against superior coaches. Because, see, that's another thing, too. You have a lot of guys coaching in the league that aren't that great of a coach. You have some guys in the league who have been an assistant long enough and they're recycled and they keep hopping from team to team and they bring the same philosophy. They just are able to sell someone else on their bullshit, and that's how they keep getting jobs. The one time I seen somebody give Steph Curry problems, it was Matthew Dellavedova. Journeyman player, sometimes he'd knock down an open three when he was open. He played for Cleveland. But one thing he did when he played Steph Curry, he was on him like he stole something. It doesn't matter how big the play was or how small the play was. Dellavedova did not give Steph Curry any breaks. Everybody's level of offense isn't the same in the NBA, that goes without saying. But defense can be taught. Defense is fundamentals, and defense is just the will to do it. If you have the will to do it, you can be anybody. Now, playing tight and aggressive defense isn't going to stop great NBA players from scoring. You're just going to make it that much harder. But what a lot of players don't do when guarding Steph Curry, they don't make it hard for him. They don't guard him the whole 94 feet. They don't bump him. They don't get physical with him when they're on defense playing against him. See, all of these are tricks of the trade that you have to do in order to disrupt the flow that is Golden State. But getting back to my main point about being a shooter, and here's another thing. We've seen Steph Curry before. His name is Chris Jackson, also known as Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Played for LSU, but I think 1 year in college he might have averaged 40 points or something ridiculous. He was almost like Trae Young, except he went to the hole. He was more aggressive. He was stronger than Trae Young, but he kind of reminds you of Trae Young. The point guards today are playing in a different league with different rules than the one their fathers played in, for those players who did play and watch the game prior to this newer generation coming up in the game. If you notice, you don't ever really hear a lot of basketball players talking about he's the greatest shooter of all time. A lot of times you hear people who say that are people on television. But you ask any person who's still in the league and who's playing now and who has, some testicular fortitude, they'll tell you, nah, he's not the best. He's one of the best, but he's not a clearly defined number one alpha when it comes to shooting. That record may either have to go to Bird or to Reggie Miller, in my opinion. With Ray Allen not far behind. And let's not forget about Craig Hodges neither. Or Steph Curry's dad, Del Curry. Or Rod Strickland. All of these people that I'm naming, tremendous shooters, tremendous talents, and could do everything Steph is doing and some more. And that's my opinion on the subject. Tell me what you think. You don't like it, please say so. If you do like it, let me know. I do respond to comments. And if you have a differing opinion, I'm really curious to hear it. And hear what you think, what facts you got to support your position. And I'll put it up on the channel. So, peace out. Don't forget to subscribe. 1.